Nobody warned you that growth would feel like dying, but it does, and it should. Comfort is not peace, it is sedation. A slow drip poison dressed in soft sheets and good intentions. It whispers, just rest a little longer. It tells you to wait. Wait until it's easier. Wait until you feel ready. Wait until the fear goes away. But while you're waiting, life is moving. Opportunity is moving. Time is moving. And you're standing still. People don't stay stuck because they're weak. They stay stuck because they're addicted to the lie that it shouldn't hurt. But growth? Real growth is violent. It fractures the bones of who you used to be, just to make space for who you could be. It doesn't ask for your permission. It demands your transformation. There's no soft version of becoming more. There's no painless evolution. So if you're still holding out for a version of change that doesn't require suffering, let that fantasy die. You want a new life? You'll have to burn the old one down. That means killing your excuses, even the beautiful ones. That means standing in the fire without begging it to stop. The truth? There's no shortcut, no secret formula, no motivational poster that will carry you through the abyss. Just work, just war, just the decision to keep going when everything in you screams to quit. Fairness? It doesn't exist. The moment you wait for life to treat you right, you've already surrendered your power. Because this world doesn't hand out justice. It tests your ability to endure injustice and still rise. Pain is a gate. Most turn back when they reach it. They run, they shrink, they numb. But if you step through, if you let it teach you instead of torment you, you come out different, sharper, quieter, unshakable. Because every scar becomes a map, a history of battles you refuse to lose. Not because you didn't bleed, but because you didn't back down. So, stop worshiping comfort. Stop begging for ease. Because the truth is, what doesn't challenge you isn't helping you. It's weakening you. People say, just be yourself. But what if yourself is still afraid? Still lazy? Still hungry for approval? No, don't be yourself. Be what you were too scared to become. The version of you that doesn't flinch at struggle. The version that shows up regardless of how it feels. The version that doesn't beg to be saved, but becomes the storm that never needed rescue in the first place. Because here's the hard truth. You don't grow by feeling better. You grow by becoming better at surviving what hurts. That's the price. That's the exchange. Want peace? Earn it. Fight for it. Bleed for it. You don't get strength by thinking about it. You get it by walking through fire with your eyes open, fists clenched, heart racing, and still not stopping. And if it feels like you're dying, good. That means the old version of you is. Let it. Let the version of you that needed comfort die. Let the version that feared judgment rot. Let the weakness starve. Let the doubt burn. Because on the other side of all that pain is a version of you forged in fire. And that version doesn't fold, doesn't beg, doesn't break. The only way out is through. And you already have what it takes. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. So stop looking for the safe path. There isn't one. But there is one path that leads to freedom. And it starts where your comfort ends. Walk it. Bleed on it. Own it. Because the ones who grow are the ones who refuse to stay the same. Your excuses are louder than your hunger. That's why you're still average. Let that sink in. Not because it's cruel, but because it's true. People don't lack potential. They lack ownership. The kind of ruthless self-honesty that strips away every excuse, every lazy justification, every soft lie whispered in the dark. Want to know the difference between the top 1% and everyone else? It's not genetics. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's standards. The average person waits for motivation like it's some kind of divine gift. Like one day, they'll just wake up with fire in their veins and clarity in their bones. But motivation is a fraud. It's a ghost. It shows up when it wants and vanishes the second you actually need it. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up, tired, stressed, heartbroken, scared, and still executes. Because it's not emotional, it's not reactive, it's loyal. Loyal to the future version of you that no one else believes in yet. You say you want success? Then stop needing to feel good to act. Stop needing energy to start. Stop needing praise to push forward. If the only time you work is when it feels good, you've already lost. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards results. And results don't come from intention. They come from consistent, disciplined execution when no one is watching and nothing is guaranteed. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being relentless. Look, there's a war inside you, every damn day, between the part of you that wants comfort and the part that craves greatness. Between the voice that says, take it easy, and the one that whispers, get the hell up. And make no mistake, only one of them is going to win. So ask yourself, which part have you been feeding? Because the longer you let weakness speak uninterrupted, the stronger it gets. The more you negotiate with procrastination, the more power it steals. The more you let it slide, the more it owns you. Kill it, not with hate, but with action. Every time you do the work you didn't feel like doing, you starve the weak voice. Every time you move forward without applause, you sharpen your edge. And every time you honor your standards over your feelings, you build someone no one can ignore. You don't need another pep talk. You need to wake up and realize your comfort is killing your greatness, and no one is coming to rescue you from that truth. So no more soft goals, no more trying. You don't try to become unbreakable. You build it, brick by brick, day by day, until the war inside becomes quiet, because weakness knows it's already lost. Readiness is a myth. You'll never feel fully prepared. You'll never have the perfect timing. But the clock doesn't care. The world won't wait. So do it scared. Do it messy. Do it uncertain. But do it anyway. Because the cost of inaction is your potential. And every time you hesitate, you're letting a weaker version of you stay alive. Let that version die. You were never meant to coast. You were built to conquer. Not the world, not yet, but your own mind first. Conquer the urge to quit. Conquer the need to be coddled. Conquer the war inside. Because once you win there, nothing out here stands a chance. Pain doesn't stop when you cry. It stops when you adapt. Let that echo, because the world's not waiting for your tears to dry. Pain isn't a punishment, it's a message. And if you listen closely, you'll realize it's not there to stop you, it's there to shape you. Every ache, every loss, every fall you thought would break you. It wasn't the end, it was an invitation, an offer to evolve. But most don't accept it. They flinch, they fold. They think pain means they're broken, when really it means they're becoming. See, people want change without challenge. They want to be strong, but avoid struggle. They want resilience, but skip the resistance. But it doesn't work like that. You don't rise without burning. You don't evolve without erosion. The version of you on the other side of greatness, it's hidden inside the pain you keep trying to avoid. Stop running from it. Let the pain teach. Let it sharpen. Let it strip away the parts of you that were never built to last. Because here's the thing. Your limits aren't real. They're just the echo of a past you haven't buried yet. They're ghosts of excuses, shadows of comfort. And the only way to destroy them is through adaptation. Not reaction, not escape, but full, brutal, conscious adaptation. Evolution doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't ask if you're scared. It moves forward, with or without you. So become someone who moves with it. That means pain becomes fuel. Failure becomes blueprint. Fear becomes compass. Because fear, it's not the enemy. It's the map. It shows you where you haven't gone yet, because that's where the growth lives. Most people worship fear. They obey it. They let it steer their choices, limit their voice, mute their ambition. But fear can't lead unless you hand it the keys. So don't destroy it. Don't hate it. Outgrow it. Every person you admire, every legend you quote, every name you remember, they walked through hell. They didn't ask for it. They adapted to it. They used fire as armor. They used loss as leverage. And in every storm, they didn't ask for shelter. They became the thunder. That's what this is about. Not comfort, capacity. The ability to feel the chaos and still move. To face the unknown and still choose growth. To feel the fear and do it anyway. Because the truth is, you don't rise by being untouched. You rise by being unfazed. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you didn't let it own you. Because you bled, but kept moving. Because you shattered, but built again. That's power. That's real resilience, not absence of pain. Mastery over it. And mastery? It doesn't come from books. It comes from battle. It comes from standing knee-deep in failure and saying, I will not leave this place the same. Let pain do its job. Let it tear you open. So something stronger can be born inside. Stop fearing the fire. Become the thing that walks through it untouched. That's the next evolution. Not softer, not safer, but wiser, harder to kill. Built from what was meant to destroy you. You want to rise? Then burn. And when the ashes clear, let the world meet what survived. If your peace depends on others, you've already sold your mind. Let that settle. Because if someone else holds the key to your peace, then you're not free. You're a prisoner with invisible chains. Here's the truth most won't say. You were born into limitation. Not because you lacked potential, but because you were handed a script. Told who to be, told what to want, told to shrink to fit the mold. But the mold was a coffin. And every time you played small to be accepted, you buried a piece of your crown. The world doesn't fear your failure. It fears your awakening. It fears the moment you stop asking for permission. The moment you realize you're not broken. You're becoming. That kind of self-ownership, it's dangerous. Because once you see your worth without needing applause, you become untouchable. There's a reason most never make it, not because they're incapable, but because they're attached. Attached to being liked, attached to comfort, attached to stories that were never theirs to begin with. But if you want to be great, you're going to have to let some things die. Let go of being understood. Let go of being liked. Let go of the lie that peace comes from the outside. Peace is not given. Peace is claimed. And it's claimed in the silence, in the moments when no one claps, in the nights when the doubt is loud but you still refuse to break. You were not meant to fit in. You were meant to build what's never been seen before. But that requires sovereignty, mental independence, a spine that doesn't bend just because the world calls you crazy. So let them say you changed. You did. Because the version of you that was dying to be validated, that version had to go. Dead men don't get second chances. So the second life you're building, it's not a replica, it's a rebellion. Not a return, it's a resurrection. And hear this clearly. Success doesn't care how much it hurt, only whether you finished. Only whether you kept your word when no one was watching. Only whether you built when it felt hopeless. You think legends are born? No, they're made in obscurity, made in suffering, made in decisions no one claps for. And by the time the world sees them, it's already too late to stop them. So ask yourself, what if this pain is the birthplace of your power? What if this loneliness is your call to independence? What if everything you're trying to fix is actually meant to forge you? Stop waiting for healing to look like a straight line. It's a battlefield, and peace isn't found at the end. It's found the moment you decide, no matter what happens, I'm still becoming everything they said I couldn't. This is your unseen crown, not handed down, but earned. Forged in silence, tempered in war, polished by pressure. You don't need to scream to be powerful. You just need to stand tall when it would have been easier to crawl. And when they ask, how did you do it? You won't need to explain, because your presence will say it all. Now, rise. Not like the old you. Not with apologies. Not with fear. But with fire in your lungs, steel in your spine, and a crown no one gave you, but one you bled to earn.